Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Need to do things in the correct way, because I cannot teach you right from wrong. I cannot teach you right from wrong. I have to teach you how to be ethical, how to be, I can give you the code. I can tell you that this is what the code says. But if you are not an ethical person, or if you do not have an idea about right or wrong that is ingrained in you from when you were a child, the code won't mean anything to you. Okay. So that is why we've broken the session down as we have. I'm hoping this all makes sense and that you're all with me. I'm noticing that you're a very quiet audience this morning. Normally you are a little bit chattier. Maybe that's just me. I hope that you're all good and that you're all well. It has been a bit of a chaotic morning, and it has been a bit of a, should we say, a bit of a rough start, but we are here and we are getting through it. Okay. It's Monday. Yes, 100%. I'm feeling definitely like it's one of those Mondays this morning. But we get there. Okay. So one of the issues that we are that we take for granted, and I always like to just stop and think about this idea of integrity, because so many times when you put it to the audience, the audience will say integrity is doing the right thing regardless. And I'm hoping that over the last two sessions, as much as Johan in the past has sort of said to me, it's a, when I say that right, we've got to be aware that people come at right from different angles and different perspectives. And I'm not saying go be a dictator or go be somebody that's really difficult. Okay. But what we come from is that we've got different ideas about what is right from where we are, that because we think in a certain way, we're not always open to the fact that other people see it in a different light. So all I'm wanting you to do is not just throw out the idea of right. I'm wanting you to be aware and open that you will see right in a certain way. And there are certain things that there are only one way, this is the right way to do it. This is, you don't steal, be kind, do things like that. But on the flip side, people will be approaching the problem from a different perspective, a different idea that you must just be aware of, okay? Because that'll help with the negotiations, it'll help with considerations. But integrity is really being aware and aligning your thoughts, your actions, your values, and your intentions all together. Okay. I know that you're having a problem with downloading the presentation. The presentation hasn't been uploaded in the normal way this morning because of internet issues at home base. We will be looking at this and trying to sort it out as the morning goes on. And we will get the presentation to you as soon as we can. Okay. We are working on that in the background, I promise. Okay. So I've always said again that my favorite definition of integrity is this one, by Brené Brown. It is saying that integrity is choosing courage over comfort. It is choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy. It is choosing to practice your values rather than simply profess them. So this is, again, why you need to know what your values are and where you're coming from in order to work with that. Okay. I do see comments, what are ethical challenges and problems in practice? That's where we're going to get to this. Okay, so the heart of the code, whether you're a cyber member, a chartered secretary, a SAPA member, a SACA member, an URBA member, the origin document of our code of conduct of accountants' thought process when it comes to professional ethics. So forgetting anything else you might know, if you come from a different place and different space, and I've seen various different codes of conduct for the different membership bodies, this is the heart and the core of all of them. Okay, and you can really summarize them all down to this. So we are a principle-based code that has 5 principles we have to protect at all times. We also have identified 5 threats. And overarching all of this is the need to track our independence. Now, Auditors are going to have the biggest level of independence to practice. So as an auditor, you're literally standing on the hill looking at the situation, which has its own challenge because at the same time, you've got to know your client well enough to be able to see the risks, but stay far enough away to be objective. Okay. Compilers, tax practitioners, we have to have a level of independence, okay, at least perceived independence. Independence comes in two spaces. It comes from actual mental independence, critical thinking, which I like to believe every single accountant has, and then perceived independence. Okay, where people see you as being independent. And that is often unfair and difficult because, if you live in a small town and your kids go to the same school and you shop in the same shops and you go to the same churches, it's very hard to have that distance. Okay, and the reason we need that is so that people don't see that we are colluding or that we are one-sided. It's the same way every single one of us want the ref in a sports match to be separate from the two teams. We don't want them to be showing favoritism to one or the other team. We want them to be neutral in this matter. And as much as like a financial manager or a financial director, I mean, obviously they're not going to be independent in the same way that an auditor is independent. But there has to be some level there of separation. There has to be some level there of, that the officers don't eat with the troops, that they can separate themselves so that when they need to give bad news or when they need to be critical and analytical or when they need to bring the hammer down, they can, and that they're not brought, they're not sort of lost in the woods and can't see the forest because they have some distance from it. They can be strategic and they are independent of the transactions to a certain degree, that they can see it for what it is. Okay, that is why independence is so important. So we've got to be able to take ourselves out of the equation and see what is happening for what it is. Okay, so overarching all of this is this level of independence. So let's break these principles, and I work with it in a matrix format like this because these relationships are not linear. These relationships are not one affecting the other and then this affects that. They are messy. So one of the nice things that have happened in the last few years is that the IFAC code was rewritten because the IFAC code used to be a terrible document to read, very repetitive, because you felt like you're reading the same examples over and over again, because they kept on coming back to, that this was an example that affected this, but then it also affected that, and then it affected this, and then it affected that. Okay, so you can have these issues, but they affect multiple things. So obviously your core integrity about doing the right thing and always standing up for the right thing, that will affect be threatened by many different things. Okay, you can be intimidated to try and do the wrong thing. People can try and force your hand and try and pressure you to do things that go against the grain and are not what you're wanting to do. Okay, you could be advocating, and you maybe it's a family friend, so there's that familiarity problem, or maybe it's it's a cause that you feel very powerfully about, and you're advocating so that you don't actually, you're so invested in this that maybe you step over a line. Okay, or maybe you have personal interest that causes you to step over a line. So integrity, again, is something that you've got to know your line in the sand, that this is right and that is wrong, and you're not prepared to go past that. Now, we see a lot of problems with integrity at the moment with ethical fading. People are in survival mode. People are challenged. So they don't want to think about the fact that their conscience and that their moral compass is wavering, because the choices they have are bad and worse. Okay, and it's a really difficult issue. Okay, no, I see that there's a challenge there. So I must run my antivirus on my side as well. So thank you for that. But the challenge really is, with your integrity, is can you be pushed into doing something in the wrong way? Okay. Can you be pushed into crossing a line that you don't want to cross? Are you aware that you're even crossing a line? And so we often talk about, that it's the little things. It's being.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.